Okay, so let's go ahead and deal with the major pentatonic. I kept this for last, even though these aren't in any specific order. You can go in any order, it doesn't really matter. The major pentatonic, this is probably the second, I would say the second most common used. I'd say the minor pentatonic in our modern times is probably the most used scale in probably all guitar playing and probably a lot of rock. So major pentatonic, very light sounding, and it's just, there's only 5 tones. So we're gonna just cover this very briefly because it's very common as well. And then you got the chords of D major. It'll work over any of these chords when you're creating progressions. So let's just go ahead and do that. Maybe we'll just do 1, 2 with the pedal point, 5 with a pedal point, 1. Okay, we'll do it that way. It's a little different than what we've done before. So. So overall, a very pleasant sound, kind of, very happy sounding. Let's do 1, 3, 4, 1. I'm just going to run through examples. You could use this pentatonic, this major pentatonic scale over anything in D major. So iron. And that's as far as I'm going to go with it. Is just trying to give simple ideas here. So taking the most typical, probably, arrangement of chords in our modern times, 1s, 1, 5, 6, 4, but I'm using that D major pentatonic scale, so it works perfectly well over something as typical as that. So again, there's no rule whether we have to use just the pentatonic scale. We can intermix it with D major, for instance. So I'm just playing a D major chord and switching between D major and D pentatonic, or D pentatonic, D major. Let's do this. Play D major chords, or notes, and D pentatonic arpeggiation in the lower voice. Pentatonic, major, in the higher voice. Okay, you could intermix these things like this, so there's no rule. So I'm just going to go ahead and random jam here on mixture. So if you're a film composer, you might take advantage of that because it gives a very, very pleasant kind of melody, intermixing those two like that, and using normal techniques of the major scale intermixed with that those instances where you switch over to a kind of pentatonic moves. So there's all kinds of uses for this. So you could intermix too. That's the whole point. And so D major pentatonic's probably, in the major pentatonic, we'll just call it that because that's what it's most referred to, is probably the second, well, that and minor pentatonic are the most common pentatonic scales used today. But you could use them all, and there's no rule against it. And you could actually intermix scales, like I said, too.